Good morning, everybody. Gary here with Pike Outside. I'm out here in my local favorite woodland again. I am getting ready for a hammock camping trip next week that my buddy Shane is organizing. And I've never been to this place. It's called Indian Cave State Park out in the basically extreme east corner of Nebraska. And he said it gets pretty buggy down there. So he recommended getting a net for my hammock. So I ordered a cheap one off Amazon from a company called Outdoor Skye. I thought I'd show you guys how it sets up, so if any of you out there are interested in getting this net, you kind of know what it's like. And I think I'll go ahead and show you what my hammock setup is like, and show how I rig up my Ridgeline and different things like that. So come along with me, I'll let you check out my setup. Okay, so I've got my Kelty backpack here. It's an old Locust 40 model. I use this for most of my backpacking trips. I don't have it fully loaded because I'm not ready to go or anything, but I'll show you what we're working with here. Here's the bug net. Here's how it comes from Amazon. Nothing to it. That's the stuff sack right there. We'll open that up in a little bit once we get everything else set up. Here's my tarp, another pretty cheap little piece of kit off Amazon. Bare butt hammock. Chill Gorilla hammock straps. This is my Hammock Gear 20 degree rated underquilt. And last, another piece of Kelty kit. This is their Cosmic Down 20, I believe. It's just my normal sleeping bag, but I'll use it kind of as a top quilt. Okay, so I've paced off the distance here. This is kind of a longer distance, but I prefer longer than too short. I'm coming up with about 7 or 8 strides, I think, not actual paces. And 7 or 8 seems to work pretty good for me. So I'm going to go ahead and put my straps up now. Okay, so the trick here is these trees are uneven, and by that I mean that they are growing on different levels. So that tree down there is lower in elevation than this tree, basically. So you got to kind of keep that in mind when you're setting it up. Try to make sure that your straps are roughly the same height from sea level, not from the base of the tree. And that will give you the most even hang. So I'm going to start with the lowest, So I'm going to start with the lowest little loop here, just because I'm going to have to stretch all the way over there, and it is quite a distance. And then what that does is that it just allows me to reach, and I can kind of adjust from there. Okay, so you can kind of see there what that looks like. That's the hammock. That's the old hammock mobile. You always give it a little test before you go any further, kind of see how the hang is. Plus it's just fun to take a load off and kind of swing it here. I think that's part of the novelty of hammocks. Part of the reason why they're so popular is just how much fun they are. And really, I think that's the reason for a lot of outdoor recreation is we just always have fun when we're outdoors. At least that's how it seems to me. Okay, next comes the Ridgeline. So I've got my tarp here, my stakes for it. Very simple little setup. Here's my homemade Ridgeline. I made it from some of that, I think Night Eyes reflective cordage. That's what that is. And then some cordage I got, I think from REI. I don't know if it's true 550 paracord or what, but I made little prusik knots there. I'll let you look at that a little closer here in a minute. Okay, so I'm going around the tree with my line. Got a little, I think it's a figure 8 knot in there, just kind of as a stopper. But that's kind of unnecessary, other than it keeps my prusik knots from sliding off the end. What I do here, I don't know if you can see that, got another little, this is a Kelty product. Night Eyes makes things just like these, and I don't know who owns the patent on that design, but all you do is go down around that side, up and around, and it locks in. And then, that's how it's going to look. See that okay? So the prusik knot keeps it from sliding this way, although you can adjust it manually just by grabbing the knot itself and sliding. And then this locks in there. So I've really got 2 adjustment points, and that works great. That works great for my Ridgeline. I'm going to do that on the other side, and we'll catch up with you. Alright, probably can't see very well there, but here's my Ridgeline set up. Okay, so let me quickly show you how this prusik knot is done, and then you can kind of understand how my setup goes. Okay, so the prusik knot is based on a loop here. So what I have is, I think it's a fisherman's knot. It's 2 overhand knots tied across their opposite shank, so they kind of pull together. But you can use any joining knot to create your loop. And then on your Ridgeline here, you start spinning it inside, okay? And it's really important that the ropes go inside rather than outside. They'll sit very nice and neat, and that will create the jam that you need. Okay, so here's the close-up view. See how that works? You just keep spinning inside. Keep these parts right inside. See that? Okay. I'm going to do about 3, maybe 4 times. Okay. That looks good to me. Okay. So then when it pulls tight, it looks just like that. And then it won't slide either way. But when you grab it, it's real easy to slide. That's what makes that adjustable. That's what makes it such a great knot for this application. Okay, so I've showed you my prusik knots. I've got the one here. This is just for adjusting the Ridgeline itself. I've got one here. This is the one I haven't explained yet. And this is the one that I just demoed on. This is going to hold the tarp. Okay, I'm going to clip it in there. That's why I've got little carabiners on there. So I got 2 of those, both on the inside, and then the outside ones we're using to adjust the Ridgeline. Make sense? Okay, so now it's time to put the tarp over the top. I'm gonna clip this in like so, string it out, and stake it up. And there's the train, right on schedule. Okay, before I finish with the tarp, I'm going to bust out this net. I'm going to show you how that gets set up. I've never done this before. This is brand new to me. I think that'll be easier than doing it after we put the tarp on. And one thing to be aware of is I think this needs to go underneath the tarp from the Ridgeline. Therefore, the tarp needs to go over the Ridgeline rather than underneath it. Okay. The only concern there is over a lot of use, you might start to abrade the tarp on the rope or vice versa. But it's an inexpensive tarp, so I don't really care. All right, I'm gonna get this figured out and we'll get back with you. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by stringing the hammock actually through one end. We're gonna start there, get it all strung through, then we're gonna clip it in. Okay, so that was surprisingly easy actually. Get from the one end to the other. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and cinch this down at this end. Okay, so that holds that into place. Do that at the other end, get it hooked back up. Okay. Alrighty, so we got it all strung up, all hooked back up. Now I think the next step is going to be take these clips, put it right over the old Ridgeline. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Really comes together really quickly. Here's your zipper entrance. There's a little pouch down here should you need it. I don't think that'll be really used for anything. And this is maiden voyage, maiden attempt of getting inside. And you can see the hammock really sags, so it's good that there's lots of room there underneath like that. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. The next thing I gotta figure out though is how to get my underquilt on, throw my quilt in, then we'll finish pitching the tarp over the top. Okay, took a little bit of finagling. I think it's a little harder than it should be, putting the underquilt on inside the bug net. To make things simple for yourself, if you like using a pad inside of your hammock, you can, but it really wasn't that hard. It took me like 5 minutes of just kind of finagling a little bit. So, and if I knew what I was doing better, if I used my hammock setup more, I think it would have been even better. But yeah, I'm liking this. It looks cool. I know for a fact that my underquilt keeps me really warm. I've used it down below freezing before, and it does a great job. You can see it here, made in the USA, hammockgear.com, incubator, economy 20 degrees. Good little piece of kit. So now I am going to throw the tarp over the top, pitch that out so you can see that. Here we go. Okay, I got it pitched like that. Again, those prusik knots come in so handy. You just slide it down, kind of center it where you want over the tarp, and then slide it out so it's nice and taut. Or not rather over the tarp, but over the hammock. This tarp always made me nervous because it just barely overhangs. But I've been rained on several times in this and it's always kept me dry. So, seems to work good. Golden Eagle, I think. Golden Eagle. All right, ladies and gents, that's how the setup looks. Pretty handsome, if I do say so myself. Let's see how it looks from the inside here. Okay, so this is it. This is home for the night. Not tonight, but next weekend. We're gonna give it a shot. I shoved my sleeping bag down there in the bottom. Throw it over as kind of a top quilt. I usually get inside it if it's really cold, but really with this underquilt kind of surrounding me, pull it, make sure it surrounds you good. Kind of sleep a little cockeyed like this. Yeah. Some people like a pillow, some people don't. I think last time I went without a pillow and I just stuffed the jacket up there, and I actually like that pretty good. So, yeah, I think this is gonna work. Oh boy, oh buddy. I feel like it's appropriate to say, "Who buddy?" on a video about hammocks. You Sugar Emery fans out there know exactly what I'm talking about. Alright guys, so this is my hammock setup. This is the initial setup of the Outdoor Skye bug net. Stay tuned to my channel. Next week, like I said, I'm going to do that hammock camping trip with Shane, and we're going to get to actually test out this bug net in actual buggy conditions. Yay! So, should be very cool. Stay tuned. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe and the little bell for notifications for my channel. I appreciate that very much. In the comments, let me know what questions you have about my setup, and if you have any thoughts or advice, I'm always interested in hearing those as well. So, as always, be kind, be adventurous, and hang loose! Oh yeah. That's the stuff. Why am I still filming?